Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Now, I'm doing a kind of double introduction on this video because I decided I wanted to review this foundation. It's a new foundation from MAC. Let's talk about what it is. It's called the MAC Studio Fix Everywhere All Over Face Pen. Okay, and that's what the box looks like, and this is what the pen looks like. Now, I'm going to edit out some of my second introduction. And the reason I've done two introductions is because I, first of all, thought I'm going to do a first impression. And then I decided I wanted to kind of try it out over a 3-day period and kind of get some tips and tricks and whatever. And it's really changed my view about a lot of things. So I've kept a lot of it in, but I'm going to edit out things that I've repeated. And also, I'll put some timestamps in there just in case it gets too long. But I really have done an in-depth review of this product. Now, I am actually wearing the foundation at the moment, and there's lots and lots to say about it. I'm actually loving the wear of it, but you'll see as the days go on how I change my opinion about certain things. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll be back afterwards. I'll pop up in my more glamorous shot at the end to give you my final thoughts. Now, I have promised that I'm going to bring you the dupe of the Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury. But today I really wanted to try this new product which I ordered. And I like to do a genuine first impression. And I haven't opened it yet, but I really am desperate to try it. And you can probably see from my complexion today, I certainly can, that I didn't sleep last night. So I could really do with a bit of foundation, because I've not just got bags, but I've got dark circles galore today. I got quite a shock seeing myself on video. So anyway, I could really do with this. Now, I am a bit of a gadget girl. I love gadgety ideas. And when I saw this from MAC, I thought, oh, that's a bit different. I've just got to try it and review it for you guys. But there's some things that I'm going to have to say about that in a minute, because it's got its disadvantages as well. But let me just read you what it says about the product on the website. So, this is called the Studio Fix Everywhere All Over Face Pen, okay? And it says, conceal and correct with our easy-to-control face pen that gives a lightweight, natural-looking matte finish for up to 36 hours. Why is everyone doing 36 hours at the moment? Why do we want makeup to last 36 hours? They seem to have extended it from 24 to 36 hours. I mean, maybe if I don't sleep, I could leave it on. But anyway, I'm going off the point. This 2-in-1 concealer and foundation pen is transfer-proof, waterproof, and wears comfortably with customizable coverage. Features skin-loving hyaluronic acid and vitamin E. Now, it also says on the box that it's got caffeine in it and claims not to be caking. Now, one of the things, I always love MAC foundation because I always get a really good match. And generally, my shade is NC35. I say that because they can differ their shades between different types of foundation. So I'm hoping this is a good match for me. Now, the big minus of this is that you kind of, you know the saying, you get what you pay for. You also pay for a gadget. So to give you an idea, this is £28 and there's only 12 mils of product in this, which is kind of about less than half a normal size of foundation. Okay, and to give you an idea, the normal Studio Fix, the kind of regular Studio Fix bottle, is £32 for 30 mils. And if you were to get 30 mils of this, the equivalent of 30 mils of this, it would cost you 70 quid. So you are paying for the packaging and the innovative design. But one of the reasons I'm still in, even though I retired, medically retired 4 years ago now, I still am obsessed with things that are easy to carry around. I just love the convenience of that. So here is the product. And I literally have not tried this yet, as you will see, because I've got to work out all the clicking bits and whatever. And apparently you unlock it here to turn on and off. But then you click it to get customizable coverage. And you're supposed to do it a half turn for concealer and a full turn for foundation. So I'm just going to try it as we speak. So I'm assuming that this comes off. Yes. Right. So that's what the pen looks like there. And it says you've got to turn this on. Now it's got on, off. Right. I've now clicked it on. And then you're supposed to click it. Click at the bottom, I think. No. Where do you click it? I'll be back in a minute because I haven't figured this out yet and I don't want to break it. So I'll be right back. Okay, you do click the bottom. Now, there we go. You click the bottom and it comes shooting up. So that is a kind of half click, which you're supposed to use as a concealer. So I'm going to put this on first. Now this is going to look a bit weird to put my concealer on first. But hopefully I'm now going to cover up all those dark circles under my eyes. And I'm also going to compare it with my other two foundations that to me, this is just, I thought it kind of mixed it into different different levels of coverage. But it seems to me that it just, all it does is give you a little bit extra if you do one big squeeze and a little bit less if you do, I don't know. I've got to figure this out yet. So I'm just going to now put this on with my fingers. I kind of thought that I'm not putting my words together very well today, but I kind of thought that it gave a different mixture of pigment depending on how much you clicked it. But it seems to me like it just dispenses more product if you do a whole click as if you do a half click. So I'm going to have to go back and read the website in a minute because I don't get it. If it's just about the amount that it dispenses rather than the formula, the amount of pigment in the formula. That's what I assumed this was about. So I really need to go and read the website again a little bit more. Now, I'm not a huge fan of a matte coverage. And at the moment, I have to say, it's not really beating my two favourite MAC foundations, which is, the two that I like is the waterproof foundation and the full coverage compact foundation, the waxy one, the pro one. Right, let's try this clicking thing again. Right, if you do a full click, you get that amount coming out. Is there a... I really want it to be what I thought it was going to be, which is that it dispenses... No, it doesn't, because it just twists around to where you started from, that it dispenses a little bit more pigment. I don't get this. I really don't get it. Right, I'm now going to put another layer on because it's really not, at the moment, it is not covering up that pigmentation the way I would like. And it's actually looking quite pale on me for an NC35. And as I said, some foundations, they don't all have exactly the same colour, so you do have to watch MAC sometimes. Normally NC35 is a really good match for me. And I definitely need some of this around my eyes. Now, the way I see this is I've put on a second layer and I'm now putting a bit more to use as concealer, that you're going to use this up very quickly, given that there's only 12 mils in the pen. So at the moment, my first impression is I'm a little bit disappointed. But if you like the convenience of something that you can carry around, that's easy to dispense, and it is a bit like a pen, then there is the benefit of the way that it dispenses the product. I'm just not convinced on this whole marketing that it gives you customizable coverage. Just muting myself for a minute to say it's actually the foundation that gives you the customized coverage. It's just not the pen. I'm having to layer this up quite a bit, but then again, as I said, I didn't sleep very well last night and I did have very bad dark circles. I do like the fact that it says it's a concealer and foundation in one, although pigment is pigment, and in theory you can use any foundation as a concealer. Right, so that's how it's looking on me. Let me just zoom in. Now, I did have to layer that up a bit to get full coverage, but it does say it's customizable. So it is probably, that's the way you customize it, by the amount of layers that you use. And it does give me reasonably fairly good coverage after 2 layers. What do you guys think? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of powder on and I'm going to check it later on. I'm not going to put lots of other makeup on because, as I've said, I'm quite tired today and I don't want to put a lot of stuff around my eyes. One of the things that I have noticed so far is that it's not setting my eyes off watering, and I have got very close to my eyes, and a lot of the time foundations and concealers start my eyes watering, especially when I've had no sleep. So that is something good to say about it. So I'm going to come back in a little while and do a little bit of an update. And in the meantime, I'm going to read what this website says about how you customize it, because I don't get it. I really don't get it, other than it dispenses a different amount depending on how much you click. I don't really see the point in that. It's just you click as much as you need and then stop. But I may be doing this wrong. So as I said, I'll be back. I'll read up about it a bit more and I'll be back to give you an update in a couple of hours. Okay, see you all soon. Hi everyone. My insomnia has finally caught up with me. So it is now about, I put this on at 3 o'clock. It is now about 8 o'clock and I'm getting an early night. Now, because I'm really tired and because this foundation says that it lasts for 36 hours, I'm going to do what I don't normally do and I'm going to go to sleep in it. So let's see what it looks like in the morning. If it lasts for 36 hours, it should look pretty good after 16 hours. We shall see. And hopefully it won't have irritated my skin by then. But I'm sure one night won't harm. All right, catch you all in the morning and let's have another check-in and see what it looks like. Just to say, these shots don't look very glamorous because I was having a pain flare-up on that particular day. Well, now, it's 1 o'clock in the morning the following day. So we're now talking about 32 hours, not quite 34, but I do want to take this foundation off now. Now, my eyes have been streaming all day. I really think I was pushing it, wearing it for that long. But I have to say, on the first day, before I went to bed, it didn't cause my eyes to be sore at all. But I think the following day, having woken up in foundation, it was just a bit much to ask for my very sensitive eyes. So it's actually come off, as you can see underneath now, my concealer. And around my nose where I wear my glasses. But I've still got some around here. Now, I'm just going to say this. Why you would need to wear foundation for 32 hours or 36 hours or whatever is beyond me anyway. Why would you want to wear it that long? But I was very impressed by what I looked like when I got up this morning, considering I also sleep on my front. I was really, really impressed by that. So, you know, if you want to sleep in your foundation or you're up at an all-night rave, then it's actually going to be rather good. I'm going to give you further thoughts tomorrow. I'm off to bed now after taking off my makeup. All right, see you soon. Mwah. Okay, so now I've thoroughly tried this for 3 days and I've got lots and lots of thoughts about it. And I'm glad that I did it that way. So when I initially started doing this video, I was going to say this was a bit of a con, that you get 12 mils. You know, I wasn't impressed with the fact that you get 12 mils for nearly the same price as you get 30 mils in a dispenser that's not like this. And I did think that this was a bit of a gimmick that we could do without, because I thought, as you saw, I thought that it added more pigment for the concealer in terms of twisting it, and it was just less complicated than I realised. It was just dispensing the amount. However, there's a lot of things going for this pen, right? Now, first of all, I have to say, slept on my face all night. My eyes were watering and it didn't budge. Now, I would expect it to stay on my cheeks, but it was actually still on under my eyes when I woke up in the morning. And that's the other thing I wanted to say about this is I put this foundation, and it's foundation cum concealer. I put this right up to near to my eyes, and it doesn't make my eyes water. Now, I think one of the reasons for that is because it's quite matte, okay? And because it's quite matte, it doesn't have the oils in that make your eyes sting. But it's one of the few, I find these days, when I put concealer on, the minute it starts going near my eyes, ooh. Now, I think one of the reasons that it doesn't do that is not just because of the formula, but also because it dries down and it stays put. It doesn't migrate. It definitely lives up to its claims of being waterproof, sweat-proof and transfer-proof. Okay, really good formula for that. And I'm going to talk in a second about who I think that this would be for and who might want to give it a miss. Now, before I do that, I wanted to tell you about the shades. This is really, really important because this is not the same NC35 as my other NC35 in the full coverage foundation. Slightly lighter, slightly a bit more orange. It's fine when I put bronzer on. I'm just going to show you a swatch here and I'll come back. Okay, so you can see it's okay. It's very close, but it's not quite the same. So you have to be careful because we all think we know what our shade is in MAC. And if you've been matched, you kind of think, yeah, I can. It's so easy with MAC, isn't it? Everyone kind of, it's your MAC shade is the kind of holy grail by which other foundations are matched up to. But be very careful with this one, okay? It's probably, if you're going to get this, I would suggest that you go and get colour matched because it is slightly different, as I said. Now, if you can't do that, go for your shade, but be aware that it might be slightly different and you might need to adjust it by using certain powders. You know, maybe a warmer powder if it's a bit too cool on you, or vice versa if it's a bit too warm on you. I just need to just go and deal with my nose situation. My nose is running. You didn't need to know that. I'll be right back. Okay, now, like I said, this does dry down and it is quite matte. Now, there are ways around that. If you've got dry skin, what I did when I applied it today is I put on magic cream underneath and then it's fine. The thing is that the problem with foundations is when you go for glowier foundations, they are not as sweat-proof and waterproof because they've got more oils in to make your face more shiny and glowy. So it's kind of trying to get the best of both worlds. This foundation on me, my skin is sort of normal to dry, okay? This foundation on me, I did use powder over it because I really wanted to take advantage of the fact that it's sweat-proof and waterproof. This foundation always looks better on me after about an hour. And the reason for that is that the oils from your skin start to kind of penetrate the foundation. Then it looks better. So if you don't like the look immediately, just give it some time. And the other thing that I did is as soon as I put powder over the top and it looked very matte, is I used a setting spray because then it will just allow everything to start mingling together. So that's the way that you can get around that, okay? Now, who do I think that this is for? I would say if you're somebody that maybe puts your foundation on every single day at home and you don't really touch it up or anything like that, then maybe this is not the foundation. It's certainly not the most economical way to buy foundation because you're getting less than half the amount in this dispenser. However, given the way that it does dispense, now it can get a bit messy. What I tend to do at the end is where there's a little bit still left over, and that's when I do my very last bit of concealing. I didn't do that today, but you can see if there's a little bit left over, rather than wasting it, that's when I do I put a thin layer of concealer on, and then right at the end, I go back in with my fingers. Now, that was the other thing that I wanted to tell you is this foundation definitely applies better with a brush. You will have seen me applying it with my fingers, and it just didn't look very good. Now, MAC actually recommend one of their brushes to use with this foundation, which I'm going to put up, I think, there. You'll see it in a minute. Now, I don't have that brush, and I didn't buy that brush specifically to use with this foundation. But the one that I used, and it worked really well, is this one from Charlotte Tilbury, which, forgive me, I've used it today and it probably does need a clean. But this foundation brush from Charlotte Tilbury, which is a kind of flat brush, and you dab it in, and I put it on like that. This you could get actually, one pump will do your entire face and your concealing. Whereas when I put it on with my fingers, I felt like I had to keep pumping. So, and this will give it nice even coverage. So a foundation brush like this, or the MAC one that you've seen, I maybe wouldn't go for one like this, because it's going to suck up too much of the product, you know, one of those. I think I would go for a flat brush more, and also that will help you to use it as a concealer. All right, now this foundation, I'm thinking of somebody. I'm going to give a shout out to Nina, who will hopefully be watching this. I'm thinking of someone like Nina, because Nina, who watches this channel, she does do a lot of traveling for, say, 2 or 3 nights a week, staying in hotels or whatever. I think this is an ideal foundation for somebody like Nina. Or if you're, say you've been invited to a wedding and you're going away for a weekend wedding. What's great about this is this will slip into your makeup bag. You won't have to have a foundation bottle and a concealer. It's less messy. And if you're going to a wedding and you apply it in the morning, it's going to still be on by the evening when you go to the evening do. You know, it's really good. So I think if you do a lot of traveling, or you want to have something in your car for touch-ups, maybe the other thing is that you can just use it as a concealer and not a foundation. And then you can think of it as a large concealer rather than a smaller sized foundation. It's great. It's a great formula. I really love the formula. I'm very impressed. The only reason it didn't last for 32 hours on me is the following day, I did start to get very watery eyes, and they were literally streaming. But this can really, it is forgiving of some eye watering, and it's certainly, this one's been watering a bit this afternoon, not directly after I applied it, but it's fine, it's not budging. So it really is a very, very good foundation. So, not the most economical, but it is definitely got its good points. The dispenser, the marketing for it is a little bit of a con. Basically, all it means is that you do a half click if you want a little amount, and a bigger click if you want a bigger amount. There's nothing new about that, but it definitely is a buildable, very buildable foundation. But definitely use a brush. You will not need to use as much. And I think you're going to love this. I'm certainly very happy with it. Do let me know if you've got any questions. And I'll see you all very soon. Love you all. Take care. Mwah.